Going upside down is one of the best and most unique part of many roller coasters around the world. Whether it's experiencing positive G's through a vertical loop, experiencing hang time through a stall, and experiencing all those negative G's, or with many different inversions all around the world, experiencing many different forces on your body. Either way, going upside down is a very jarring and very important part of many roller coasters around the world. Yet many people, they aren't aware how many different kind of elements there are to flip a person upside down. Many people know the corkscrew, the vertical loop, these basic roller coaster elements, but in truth, there are actually a lot of different kind of inversions to flip someone upside down. So I want to look at some of the most unique inversions in the world. By this, I want to look at inversions that are kind of strange looking, have kind of a funky name, and are kind of rare to many roller coasters. And some of these inversions are only found on one roller coaster out of over 5,000 around the world, and only around over 3,000 that actually go upside down. So wasting no time, I'm just gonna get straight into this. At number 10, I want to talk about the bow tie. Now the bow tie is only featured on one roller coaster. Many people know this as being kind of a weird ride known as Dragon Mountain at Marineland. Now the bow tie is a kind of inversion where it features a dive loop, but then goes out into an Immelman. But this is kind of similar to something like the Batwing, but the difference with this is you enter on one side and you go out the other, compared to like something like a Batwing, where you enter one side and you come out the same side you entered. Now this is kind of similar to other roller coaster elements, but I think it deserves a spot of number 10 for Dragon Mountain as the bow tie knot. Number 9, Twisted Horseshoe Roll. Now if you're familiar with Maverick, you know very well what the Twisted Horseshoe Roll is. This is two back-to-back inversions. The first one, you go up into a 0G roll, but then come down into a sweeping turn where you can experience positive Gs while going into another 0G roll going in the opposite direction. Now this inversion is experienced on 11 coasters. Maverick, but mainly Blue Fire clones. Think of like Blue Fire at Europa Park and many other clones of this kind around the world. Coming in at number 8 is a ride that many people are familiar with if they go to Knott's Berry Farm. It's Hang Time. Now you don't really think Hang Time of having that many unique inversions. I mean, they got the classic Cobra Roll, Cutback, Corkscrew, but they actually have something called the negative G stall. Now this is after the first drop. You go up, but then you go into a loop. Now you're not inverting the first half, but the other half, you're going into like an Immelman, but then you're kind of faking out and going to like a corkscrew at the top. Now this is pretty unique, and this is only featured on Hang Time, so if you rode this, you got that rare credit of riding a negative G stall. Number 7 should be another familiar coaster, considering it won the 2019 Golden Ticket Awards for the new Best Ride of 2019, which is Steel Curtain. Now Steel Curtain is home to having the most inversions in North America, with 9. Now which of all the 9 inversions do I consider the most unique? It's something called the Dragonfire Dive Drop. Now if you don't know what this is, it's the first inversion before you go down the first drop on Steel Curtain. Now what's unique about this one, it's the tallest inversion in the world at 197 feet. So you're inverting 197 feet above the ground. You turn upside down and go into a slow motion roll until you dive down 197 feet through the rest of the other 8 inversions on Steel Curtain. But the Dragonfire Dive Drop is only featured on Steel Curtain. And considering it's the tallest inversion in the world, I think it deserves a worthy number 7 spot on the list. Coming up at number 6 is featured on about 2 roller coasters, and believe it or not, is the only RMC coasters on the list, with Storm Chaser and Twisted Timbers having the barrel roll down drop. Now this is a barrel roll going down into a drop. So these coasters, they have an inversion on the first drop. This is something like the Steel Curtain. It's not as high, like these ones are basically only 100 feet off the ground. It goes into a barrel roll while dropping down. Now this is not like Medusa Steel Coaster at Six Flags Mexico. That may have an inversion going into the drop, but that's classified as a 0G roll, not a barrel roll. So it's only Twisted Timbers and Storm Chaser that feature this element. It was tough picking between all the RMC elements because RMC has a very unique collection of inverting riders upside down, but I decided to add these 2 inversions because I've experienced one, and I gotta say it's a very unique sensation of going down inversion on the first drop. Coming in at number 5, if you're familiar with the corkscrew and the double corkscrew, then you maybe have heard of the triple corkscrew. Now, these coasters are only known in Asia. There are over 13 of these, but 12 of them are in China. So if you're not in China or haven't been to a Chinese park, you probably haven't seen a triple corkscrew. Now, it's the same with just a basic corkscrew, but I had to give it because it has 3 corkscrews back to back, plus the chances of riding a triple corkscrew coaster is very slim considering all of them reside in Asia. There's only one manufacturer that have been known to make a triple corkscrew. There was one made by Aerodynamics in South Korea. All the other models were made by a company called Zipeo. Now, if you have never heard of this company, I haven't either. They've been known for many coasters in China. Most of the rides with triple corkscrew are currently unknown, but some are known as just the roller coaster or Fantasia Special. Now, these are some with the triple corkscrew. Not to outdo the triple corkscrew, but coming in at number 4 is the quadruple Heartline Roll. Now, if you're from Europe and you've seen the 10 inversion coasters presented by Intamin, something like Colossus at Thorpe Park, or the new one going to Flamingo Land in the UK, the 10 inversion coaster features the quadruple Heartline Roll. So if you're not familiar to what a Heartline Roll is, it's when the car rotates 360 degrees. It's kind of like an inline twist, except it's on a one axis of rotation to keep the riders in a fixed position as they rotate through the inversion. I mean, this isn't the most original element considering this is on over 9 coasters, and they're all the clones of the 10 inversion coaster, but you can't compete with 4 Heartline Rolls in a row. I mean, that's just something that seems awesome. Coming in at number 3 is the Inside Raven Turn. Now, these have only been featured on 4 coasters, and it's honestly considered half an inversion. So there's only been 4 Inside Raven Turns that are ever built. They are mainly seen on 4D coasters. So on a 4D coaster, the track is normally level, it's upright. But then when the car comes down, it's gonna go down and swoop up, and the track's gonna be inverted above. At the same time, the seats rotate so it can go and be leveled and becomes an inverted coaster-like feeling. Which is why this is kind of in half inversion, because you're never fully upside down, but the track is upright, but then it comes inverted, so that's kind of how it's half. But given how unique it is, and considering that the standards the car has to be in order to pull off this kind of inversion, the Inside Raven Turn is a very demonic element on a roller coaster, and if you have ridden a 4D coaster, you know how insane this first element is, usually at the beginning of the 4D coaster after that first demonic drop. So this is almost as rare as number 2, known as the Bent Cuban 8. Now, this is one of the most unique coasters on the entire list. Now, I was very tempted to move it up to number 1, but I decided to put it at number 2. Now, if you have ridden G-Force at Drayton Manor, that coaster is gone right now. It was torn down in 2018. But there's actually a second coaster that features this inversion, known as Dream Coaster in Iraq. Now, the purpose of this ride is on the chain lift, pulls you up, and then you're experiencing lots of hang time before going down through the inversion. Now, the ride, it features an X-Car, which is basically just a lap bar going over your waist. You go up the chain lift upside down, just a little lap bar across your waist, for an extended period of time. And since G-Force has been torn down, if you want to ride the only Bent Cuban 8 in the world, go to Iraq at Dream City to ride Dream Coaster. But now at the number 1 spot, it's the Saxophone. Now, the Saxophone's only featured on 3 coasters. If you are familiar with Sequoia Magic Loop at Gardaland, you know how unusual the Saxophone inversion is. It's one of S&S' most abnormal designs they've ever made. So basically, the Saxophone inversion is when you're upright, but then you go into a hairpin turn, like on a Wild Mouse. This is vertical, and you're upright on the track, so you're just gonna dive down a complete 180 degrees, and then just hang there for an extensive period of time, almost 4 seconds. Then you're gonna dive down again, and then you're gonna be upright, and you're gonna do the course all over again, because these coasters, they feature more than one saxophone inversion. Now, these are very quirky and weird looking rides. How could I not give it the number 1 spot as the most unique inversion? Now, these are just some of the inversions that I found that I think deserves to be in the top 10 of the most unique inversions of any roller coaster in the world. Leave in the comments below your favorite inversion, and if you think there's any that I missed that you think deserves to be in the top 10. And if you haven't subscribed to Great American Coasters, please consider hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time.